If the readouts are to be believed, the rift is on the verge of destabilizing completely. But the rift modulator cannot be operated from this distance. It must be flown into the rift.
Would that slaying the console had rectified everything? I knew I had hoped too much.
Though it may be troubling to you, this conclusion holds no uncertainty. Someone present must do this. This is not possible. There is no set destination we can command the ship to fly to. The flying and the activation of the modulator must be done manually. I will take the schematics back with me, and, using the processed rift data, of course, the Order will begin production of more modulators that can be operated at a safe distance.
The woe-bedamned circumstances that led us to this point? Is there not some other way we might solve our current predicament?
Your death will not be wasted effort. I will work with Auntie personally to protect Arcadia, and ensure your sacrifice is remembered for the selfless action it is.
Knew it'd come down to us. Always does.
No need to belabor this. I will fly the ship. Back on Greater Tranquility, you wish to give me a chance to atone for my mistakes. I'd say that opportunity has come.
If this is not some jest, then I misjudged you, DeVries. Being willing to make up for past misdeeds takes true iron.
Magnanimous. But it's not for my legacy that I'm doing this. Now go.
So, in the end, Augustine DeVries chose to die to atone for her actions. And yet, even that hope faded in her final moments, as she realized nothing would make up for what she had done. But at least she'd not have to live with her guilt any longer. Thanks to the commander's quick thinking in sparing it from the Vox station's fiery crash, Paradise Island's Fairfield remained a profitable company town for Auntie's Choice. Acquisitions Officer Carr enjoyed the perks and power that came with promotion for her asset-winning techniques on Paradise Island. Her rival, D.B. Milverstreet, meanwhile, seethed as he pushed cold morsels of borsloaf around the plate of his microwave dinner. Vigilant Hogarth was declared a traitor to the Protectorate, along with most other Westport townsfolk. They were judged according to the paradigm, then sentenced to be executed until dead, forever tied to the city they could not protect. Auntie's Choice assumed control over the day-to-day workings of Matriarch's Mercy, the better to monitor their new colleagues in the Order. The monastery, however, returned to normal operation, tracking the clockwork of the grand plan. The monastery's abbot became a scapegoat for recent tragic events, having not detected Wiley's dastardly schemes. His superiors demoted him, mainly to show their corporatist allies that academics could keep their people in line too. Seer Wiley fled the Order and sought refuge in a backwater Arcadian town to contemplate his failings. As word of the ex-seer's arrival spread, people lined up for predictions. Forsaking the math that failed him, he offered obvious yet effective advice instead. After defending Fort Endurance against a fierce Mantisaur attack, Executive Warchek was awarded a commendation for profit-securing stalwartness, as well as promotion to regional manager. He eventually passed peacefully in his sleep at the scientifically astounding age of 6. Val continued to serve the commander of the Incognito faithfully, for many more years than should be possible. giving automechs like her everywhere a reputation as stable and reliable. As a result, more Valkyrie units were put into service, while fewer human agents were deployed into the field. As he rose through the Earth Directorate ranks, Niles pressed for a field directive to deploy the new Val units only when the situation posed significant risk. The policy reduced agent casualties by a significant margin. Oddly enough, in-office deaths increased by a not insignificant margin. Agent Niles Ibarra achieved the rank of commander, earning renown as a formidable agent, unafraid to challenge the status quo within the Earth Directorate. He had his work cut out for him. Anti-Directorate sentiment swelled following Zebulon Tran's release of the agency's skip drive agreement with the Protectorate, an agreement that had enabled the Protectorate's worst authoritarian impulses. Niles' association with Tran limited his opportunities for promotion. Although he never rose higher than the Chief of Special Operations, the position still allowed him to leave a meaningful impact on the agents serving under him, which suited Niles just fine. Inez's convincing appeals to the press earned her clout in reforming Auntie's Choice's cruel grafting program. Yet it was a constant struggle, rife with red tape and pushback from program executives. This was Inez's new battle, one she would fight for the rest of her life. Utilizing what he learned alongside the commander, Tristan attempted to reform Protectorate society from within. But with no authority figure to lead its subjects, the Protectorate was a shell of its former self. After thoughtful cogitation and calculation, Marisol slowly began to reject violence as the sole method for eliminating random variables. Not coincidentally, her social calendar began filling up. Asa finally achieved her dream of dying in a rift. All it took was a daring and blood-soaked heist of a modulator to create a rift that she then summarily leapt into. Thus Asa remained a fanatical member of the Glorious Dawn, spreading the truth of the rifts to her final agonized breath. With the modulator schematics shared as joint intellectual property, Auntie's Choice and the Order's partnership remained steady, despite the need for constant compromise. For a time, the Arcadia colony thrived. Ruth Bassar proceeded to interface with the Archive, an agonizing process that clawed away her lifespan. The Archive computed that she was mistaken to compromise with the corporatists. To advance the plan, she needed to destroy them from within. So she proceeded to do just that. She had only been using the corporation for its logistical infrastructure. Auntie herself and at least some of her top executives needed to cease existing in Arcadia, either via assassination or skip-drive-assisted exile. Bassar stripped the power from the corporatists in subtle ways, until it was too late for them to stop her. Yet it remained unclear how long the Order could sustain its dominance once Ruth Bassar passed on to become one with the equation. Adrift without firm leadership, Protectorate subjects struggled with post-war life. A small band of hardliners collaborated to preserve their society in the face of Arcadia's new leadership. When Sovereign Varric was discovered in mental refreshment, the Order and Auntie's Choice bickered over what to do with him. They ultimately decided to announce his death, while letting him live the rest of his addled days behind closed doors aboard the undisputed claim. Until one day, Amos stumbled upon the Sovereign's private quarters and freed him, rocking the colony with a brief scandal. Despite the recent tumultuous events in Arcadia, it was business as usual for Free Market Station. Sub Rosa continued to supply the colony in the wake of the commander's actions. Unable to die in their sacred rift after it was closed, the Glorious Dawn heeded a new calling, seeking the modulators needed to create new rifts, so that they could die in those instead. With its reputation tarnished by its well-publicized agreement with the Protectorate, The Earth Directorate was on its back foot in negotiations to purchase skip drives from the new leadership of Arcadia. The release of the skip drive schematics to the public domain resulted in new and exciting opportunities for independent manufacturers. However, unchecked use of the drives would ultimately lead to an even greater proliferation of rifts, once again imperiling the galaxy. Fortunately, the Order stepped in. Leveraging their partnership with Auntie's Choice, the Order sold rift modulators to all skip drive manufacturers for a modest price, thus preventing another outbreak of rifts, while Auntie's Choice made a tidy profit. The rifts across Arcadia and beyond were soon closed. Trade quickly resumed, with Auntie's Choice handling logistics. Yet, more than just goods and resources traveled the re-established trade routes. The Order's version of scientism spread as well. Many colonies stabilized, many thrived, and some even rose to an Arcadian level of prosperity. But there are still some that have never been heard from. All of these events turned on the decisive actions of the Earth Directorate agent and their unique way of navigating Arcadia, its disparate factions, social complexities, ubiquitous product placement, and arsenal of absurdly satisfying weaponry. But through it all, and to this day, Earth has remained inexplicably dark.